Good evening, esteemed City Council members. My name is David Metchis with the Housing Department, presenting the third amendment to agreement to provide financial support for the construction and operation of a permanent year-round shelter serving homeless individuals located at the corner of 2nd and B, also known as Casa de Carmen. A little background concerning this agenda item. On May 17, 2022, the City Council approved Agreement A-8462 to provide financial support for the construction and operation of a permanent year-round shelter serving homeless individuals between the city and the county of Ventura. The agreement establishes a cost-sharing agreement of the capital and operation costs between the city and the county of Ventura for the construction and operation of a new 110-bed navigation center that will be located on the ground floor of the Casa de Carmen project, a 5-story mixed-use development that will be also including 56 permanent supportive units and will be located at 241 West 2nd Street. The First Amendment to the agreement was also executed on May 17, 2022 to amend the required insurance requirements between the city and the county. On March 19, 2024, the City Council approved the Second Amendment to the agreement to increase the budget for construction of the Navigation Center and to amend the shelter operations budget to an amount to be determined prior to the opening of the new Navigation Center. Casa de Carmen and the Navigation Center are being developed by community development partners and experienced multifamily and mixed-use developer in partnership with Mercy House, the city's existing shelter services operator at the National Guard Armory on K Street. Per the terms of the agreement, the County of Ventura has already provided funding to the city for capital costs associated with the construction of the Navigation Center at Casa de Carmen, and the city has committed funding to Mercy House to complete construction of the new Navigation Center at Casa de Carmen. In June 2022, construction began on Casa de Carmen and is estimated to be completed in summer 2025. For the purpose of this discussion, staff proposes a third amendment to Agreement A-8462, also known as amendment, to include 1. A navigation center and shelter operations budget for fiscal year 2025 through 2026, including a one-time payment for furniture, fixtures, equipment, and moving costs that will be shared by the city and the county. 2. Updates to the frequency and timing of payments from the county to the city. 3. An ongoing commitment for continued cost sharing between the city and the county for shelter and navigation center operations. 4. Updates to performance metrics for the shelter service operator. 5. The County Board of Supervisors is expected to consider the Third Amendment to Agreement A-8642 on June 24, 2025. Concerning the budget. The fiscal year 2025 through 2026, the total navigation and shelter operating costs, including one-time furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and moving costs to be shared 50-50 with the county and the city, is $3,271,407.75. A summary of the proposed budget is provided below. The amendment adds Section 2E to allow the annual operations budget to be adjusted in May of each year for inflation by utilizing the average for the previous 12 months from Los Angeles and Long Beach Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers. This adjustment for inflation would not require further amendment of the agreement, but may be agreed to by a memorandum between the city and county. Per Section 2A of the original agreement, annual navigation center and shelter operating budgets and the county and the city's respective apportionment of those costs will need to be approved by its respective governing bodies annually. If the governing body of either party does not approve both the annual proposed budget and the apportionment, then the agreement would automatically terminate and neither party will have any further obligations under the agreement. Performance metrics. Proposed performance-based goals for the shelter operator included as part of the third amendment are described below. Should fewer than 4 of the following 5 goals be attained, invoice payments will be reduced by 5%. Exits to positive destinations. Facilitate exits to permanent housing or other positive destinations for at least 30% of shelter residents. Housing plans. Housing plans will be developed for each shelter resident within 30 days of entering the shelter for those who stay at least 30 days. Length of stay. Ensure an average length of stay of 180 days or less for non-PSH eligible clients entering the facility on or after July 1, 2025. Occupancy rate. Maintain a minimum shelter occupancy rate of 90%. Shelter operator shall not be held responsible if shelter occupancy rate falls below 90% as a result of vacancies in shelter beds reserved for referrals by the Ventura County Sheriff's Office. Enrollment in Coordinated Entry System. Clients will be entered into CES within 1 week of entering the shelter for those who stay at least 1 week. The associated financial impacts are as follows. The total cost of navigation center and shelter operations proposed in the amendment for fiscal year 2025 through 2026 is $3,271,407.75. This amount does not include the outdoor trailer costs of $63,000 and any contingency amounts provided for in the shelter operating agreement between the city and the shelter operator, Mercy House. The shelter operating agreement is scheduled to be presented before the City Council on June 17, 2025. The amount for the proposed amendment will be funded as follows. Fiscal year 2025 through 2026 city proposed budget to include $1,635,703.88. Obligation from the general fund. $1,635,703.87 in county funding. Taking the aforementioned talking points into account, we recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute the third amendment to the agreement to provide financial support for the construction and operation of a permanent year-round shelter serving homeless individuals between the city and the county of Ventura via Agreement A-8462. This concludes our presentation, and I hope you have a good day.